All right. Hey guys. Aaron here with Highly Interested. Um, this one in particular, I might use something a little different. I don't know. I just kind of been lost in the sauce and thinking about what to, what kind of video to make, what kind of audio to record, what to record, pretty much is my only issue. I got all the stuff, but then again, it's just, figuring out the content itself. And, yeah, in this one today, it's going to be a little different, I just kind of want to share something that's just been on my mind, and it's interesting because a lot of you might find yourself in this particular situation. A lot of you guys might feel similarly, yeah, similarly to me in this regard. And that'll be with relationships, more specifically with a significant other, whether it be your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, anything in between. Yeah, it's just that other person that you are romantically involved with, you know. That's kind of what I want to cover today here in this video. Obviously a little bit more of a serious topic. Trying to go ahead and figure out which avenue to go down, and let's try this one for once. See where this leads us here. And yeah, mainly what I just want to kind of throw out there, kind of put out, is that right now, if you find yourself, alone, you find yourself, without a partner, and you feel like you need somebody there to, make you feel complete, to make you feel whole. The loneliness that you feel, with just being alone. Obviously, loneliness, being alone, being all on your own. It's, the same thing. And yeah, and what I want to talk about is essentially this. If you find yourself in that particular situation, you craving that human touch, the love, the stuff that you don't have, it's interesting because, for one, if you think that's going to complete you, make you feel any better, I want to say to an extent yes, but a large majority of it is a no. And here's why. A lot of the times, we find ourselves being alone, we tend to, think of all the bad stuff about ourselves. We tend to, be hard on ourselves, be harsh on ourselves, and sometimes not really understanding who we are, what we want in life, or who we want in our life. And it's easy to find yourself in a situation where you find somebody and, you want them to be the thing that you're missing, obviously with a significant other, that one main thing being love, the companionship. And yeah, you can get that. You can get love from another person. You can get that companionship. But what you really won't find is that missing piece to make you whole, if that makes sense. And let me explain here. Let me kind of go deeper into this. And what I mean by that is that your significant other, the person you choose to be with, is not the answer to your problems, if that makes sense. You following? Your significant other is not going to change your particular situation. If anything, it adds to it, depending on, obviously, now you're thinking of two people, whether or not you live with each other, or you just kind of go to each other's houses back and forth, there's really no, how would I say this? There is not a way to find your own true happiness through somebody else. For example, let's just talk about me. Me and my wife. I love my wife dearly. Been with her for a while. Know a lot about her. I love everything about her. But one thing that I realized, as we go through these years together, is that I may be very happy with her. I may be very happy with our relationship, but I'm not very happy with me. You know, um, there are a lot of things that I've had, to work on. Um, a lot of personal things that I'm still dealing with, struggling with. Large majority of it being mental health issues in terms of like depression, anxiety, and kind of dealing with it and just barely kind of getting on the train of, oh yeah, you know what, maybe there is a lot of things that I'm suffering with that I'm just powering through, and for a while, meeting my wife, or then, girlfriend at the time, I don't want to say she was a distraction. That's a bad way to put it, because I don't mean to say it in a way that, discredits our time together. That was not a distraction in that sense. That was time well spent. I just want to say it that way in case she listens. I'm here. I don't mean it in a bad way, baby. But yeah, I just, as I'm realizing it now, as I'm getting older, one thing that I do wish that I had done before, before headed to the altar, before heading to the altar, I don't know why I couldn't say that, is that I wish I really worked on myself before, I gave myself to my significant other. And I don't mean in a sense, giving, she owns me. I meant, giving my all, my attention, my everything, my being. I really do wish that I had given her, because for her, to me, she was everything. And I feel like for me to her, I feel like I'm giving her, a mediocre version of myself. And it's just something I've been struggling with. I'm sure many of you have as well. Obviously that's not something we talk about with our significant others, because, there's a whole lot of other things, other discussions, or, maybe not discussion, but other misunderstandings that could come from even bringing up this kind of topic with your significant other. I don't want my wife to think that I'm second guessing or, not committed or anything. That's not what I want to get across. What I just want to get across is that I wish I gave her a better version of myself. And it sucks because now I'm here now realizing all these things that I'm trying to work through, but now I have her here suffering with me, because obviously when it comes to mental health issues, it's not necessarily, a battle that you yourself are facing, but when you're with your partner, it's a battle that you're in together now, because more often than not, these feelings that I have, these emotions, these particular problems that I run into are usually just, of my own creation. And it sucks because sometimes I feel like being my wife, she gets that, how do I say that? I don't want to say second degree burn. She catches strays, not strays. I'm not fucking meaning that I'm a violent person or I talk down to her or anything, but maybe I might be irritated and I don't want to talk. Sometimes I just want to be alone, and a lot of the times that's just the mental illness talking, let me suffer, leave me to my own devices. And that's one thing that I wish I worked on before, giving her this version of myself, because I still have that mindset of this is my own battle, this is my own struggle, and obviously I don't want to say, if you have a significant other that, you should put, a lot of that stress on them as well, but obviously, some people might think that, or might feel differently. They might see that their significant others should be, that for them, because, that's part of the bargain, that's part of the vows, you love them in sickness and in health, till death do you part kind of deal. And that's part of it, right? The struggle, the bad times, the good times, it's all a package deal. And for me, that's not what I want to do. That's not the kind of person I want to be. That's not the kind of husband I want to be, And by all means, I know that, there is no way to be the perfect husband, to be the perfect wife, or, it's just life. You live it, you go through it. All you can do is, put your best foot forward and, be kind and just love your significant other, And yeah, that's just what I wanted to kind of talk about with you guys here, just in general, for a lot of you who, do have significant others and who feel like, you're giving them the short end of the stick in the relationship. And that's just kind of what I'm feeling. And it sucks because, I do believe we do have a equal partnership in this relationship, in our marriage. It's just that I really wish I would have worked on myself. And part of me wants to make this video here because a part of me wants to make this video because I'd like to put this out there, bring some awareness to it. Obviously you can't have enough awareness for mental health, but just awareness for you and your significant other, you and your husband or wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, just to be the best version of yourself, and putting your best foot forward, working through your problems, working through your emotions, I just want to get that out there, just let you guys know that you're not alone, and that just keep at it, and I don't really know where I'm going to go from here. I'm just going to keep recording until something else comes to mind. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video here, just to put it out there. And yeah, actually probably the thesis for this whole entire conversation would probably be, don't get married if you're expecting don't get married if you're expecting your significant other to be the one to, lift you from perdition, to bring you up, when you're down. You shouldn't really put that stress on a relationship like that, because, for me, I'm undiagnosed with many things. I know I have some kind of mental disorders from the things that I've gone through in my past, but I haven't been to the doctor in well over fucking 12 years, 13 years now. And I'm scared to go there as well. My advice to everybody else who has health insurance: go to the doctor. Trust me, just go. I know who you are. You know who you are. Make that appointment. It's not too hard. If you have the money for it, if you have the ability to go and get checked out, go get checked out. Because living with these particular issues, it's real exhausting, And sometimes it's hard to get up out of bed and be that, the super loving husband, to be the man of the house, the man who can do anything, who can fix anything, you know. It's hard to be that person 100% of the time. You know, we all go through our own phases, our own ups and downs, all of our own peaks and valleys. And it's just important that you just remember, you know, if you are getting married, it's an equal partnership. You know, get the help that you need. You know, keep that relationship healthy. You know, listen to your significant other, listen to their needs. You know, obviously you have needs as well, whether it be, you know, mental, physical, any type. Just be very vocal with one another. You know, just let them know when you're not feeling too well. Just let them know that, hey, I need some time. It's not you. I just need some space. I need to breathe. I need to unwind. And yeah, just be straightforward like that. Because, you know, a lot of the things that I've done that I wish I hadn't done is, you know, keep everything to myself. And I've done that to the point where, you know, it drives me just fucking up a wall, drives me insane just to have this nonstop war in my head. And every time my wife, you know, she notices it. You know, you stick with your significant other long enough, they can pick up on your tells and everything. And so she asks, you know, are you okay? You know, do you need some space? And me being a dude, you know, being the man, is just like, I'm fine. No, I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm all, I can do this. I'm all right. I'll be okay. And, you know, even though I'm not okay, and even though that 10 minutes from now she asks me again and I answer just with an irate response of like, nah, I'm fine, just drop it, I'm good, you know. And that's never good. You know, you never want to put your significant other in that kind of situation. You don't want to make them feel any type of way. And yeah, that's just what I want to kind of share with you guys. Just kind of be kind to one another. Really appreciate your significant other, wife, whoever. And yeah, just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And yeah, all right, guys. And that's just kind of what I want to share with you guys in this one. Not too direct or whatever, just straight to the point. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.